and welcome back to my channel, Mental Health with Melissa. If you're new here, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more content like this. I post new videos every single Sunday and Wednesday, and subscribing to my channel really helps me get mental health information out there to our communities of color and tons of free LCSW test prep. I'm a therapist, LCSW clinical supervisor, and PhD psychology research student, and I am going to be coming out with this new LCSW test prep program. So if you're interested, please sign up if you haven't already. In the description box below, there's a link there, and let me know if you're interested in this material. I've gotten quite a few emails so far, but I'm still getting all of this information together. So hopefully this is helpful, and hopefully it'll be available to you when you do take your test, because I won't have it for the next few months here, because I'm really trying to get it all together, and I have a lot of stuff that I'm trying to prep for it. So today we're going to be continuing on this series of developmental theories series, and I love how that rhymes. I think that's really cute. So we've already done a video on Erikson, and we've already done a video on Mahler. So today we're going to be doing a video on Piaget, and then we're going to do a video on Freud, and then that will complete the series of developmental theories for your LCSW test prep. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about some key terms that Piaget uses in the Piaget's developmental theory. And I have another video that I've already done from a while ago. I believe it was in June, back in June. So last year in June, and that video, I'm going to link it below. You're going to watch that because I have an LCSW test prep question in that video as well. I start the video out with the question, and then at the end of the video I go through each of the stages and explain them and break them down more in detail. So if that's something that you are interested in, then head to the link below. Like I said, today we're not going to focus as much on the stages, but we're going to focus on some very key terms. Somebody had left a comment asking to discuss more of the terms, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we go to the test prep question. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so this is what I talk about when I say the stages of development. I'm not going to go over them because I already have a video going over them in detail. So if you like this, feel free to screenshot it. Very briefly, in a nutshell, it's really 0 to 11 and a bit older, while Mahler is mainly talking about infant to toddlerhood, and then Erikson talks about infancy and birth all the way to end of life. We're going to see that Piaget's stages really focus on 0 to kind of preteen years. And so if that helps you kind of break up the differences between these developmental theories, then definitely remember it in that light. Mahler was a pediatrician and was a pediatrician physician. So she just focused on infancy and toddlerhood. So you can remember it in that way. Mahler was a pediatrician, just focused on the development of up to toddlerhood. Erikson talks about infancy and birth all the way to the end of life. He's the only one that does that out of these theorists. Piaget is birth to 11 and around preteenish. So keep that in mind. Take a look at this, and we're going to get into the LCSW test prep question. So there's a couple of terms that come up in Piaget's developmental theory, and these are actually not even in the stages, but they're a huge part of the developmental theory. And somebody actually asked in one of my comments to go into more detail about accommodation versus assimilation. Adaptation and equilibrium are also key terms in Piaget's developmental theory, and so we're really going to want to pay attention to these terms because they will come up on the test likely, and they kind of help us understand. Once we can understand these key terms, we can see why and how the stages are the way that they are set up for Piaget. So I didn't talk about these terms in my other video, so if you want a test prep question example that's focused on the stages, then go back to the video that I referenced that's going to be down in the description box, and leave a comment if you do want a video that is kind of going over the main stages, and I may do that part of this series. So as you know, pause here, try to answer the question yourself if you do know. If you don't, it's okay. We're going to go ahead and go through this. So Elaine is in the back seat of the car while her mom drives on the freeway. While on their drive, they pass a farm with a horse. Elaine screams, "Mommy, look, it's a big doggy like Skip," referencing their family dog named Skip. According to Piaget's stages of development theory, Elaine is modeling which of the following terms? And there's not really too much to break down here. It's just kind of one of those things about knowing key definitions and terms. So let's go through what each of these things mean. Option A, equilibrium. So equilibrium, according to Piaget's developmental theory, is achieved through this connection and this combining of the terms assimilation and accommodation. And you see those as other options. So when equilibrium is attained, that means that the individual, or the child in this case, can identify appropriate images and label them correctly. So, and I'm going to go into more detail explaining this, so it'll make sense in a minute. Right now it may sound a little confusing, but based on what I just said, because Elaine called the horse a doggy, that doesn't seem to be the accurate label or word to describe what she's seeing. So for that reason, we're going to go ahead and cross equilibrium out. Okay, option B, adaptation. So adaptation is when assimilation and accommodation lead to this new understanding of a image or of a thing. So that's not what's going on in this case, because again, there hasn't been a appropriate label of what Elaine is seeing. And again, I'm going to go over in detail what this means. So let's go to option C. Option C, accommodation. So accommodation, according to Piaget, is a modification of existing schemas. And what this means is when a child or somebody is able to take certain information and then apply it to what they know, and it's more substantial, and it requires that person to reshape these containers. So I'm going to give you an example according to this so that you understand it better, but I want to look at option D. So option D is assimilation, and according to Piaget, assimilation is kind of incorporating new information to existing schemas. So knowledge occurs when a child encounters a new idea and must fit that idea into what they already know. So this is like existing container sort of thing. So with this particular vignette with Elaine seeing the horse and thinking that it's a dog, this is an example of assimilation. So she has a dog already, and so she knows that the dog's name is Skip, and she has understood in her eyes, having this relationship with Skip, that this is a doggy. When she sees this new animal that she's never seen before, but it has 4 legs, she assumes that this is a dog as well, just like Skip, like it says here. So that's why it's called assimilation. So what she's doing here is she is taking the information that she already knows. She sees this new creature, this new animal, and is labeling it based on what she knows. So again, filling the existing containers of what she already knows. So accommodation, however, is when Elaine would be able to then be told by her mom that Skip is actually an animal too, but Skip is a dog. This thing that you see that has 4 legs on the farm is actually a horse. So giving Elaine that information, Elaine is now able to process that this horse is not the same as a dog. It is a horse. So for that reason, because she hasn't been given that information yet and she's still going to, it's a doggy, the answer would be assimilation, because again, she's still using information that she knows and putting that horse under the same category as Skip, because they both have 4 legs. Accommodation would happen when the mom would tell Elaine that it's a horse, and then Elaine can comprehend that. And again, it's more substantial, and it requires her to reshape these sort of containers. So this would not be the answer. Again, when she is able to modify existing schemas, which is accommodation, adaptation will then be the end result, because she's been able to use both accommodation and assimilation. And so for that reason, adaptation is not the answer. I hope that was helpful. Please let me know in the comment section below if you need any clarity on that. I'll be happy to do so. It is a confusing sort of theory and breaking down these certain terms. But thank you so much for watching. Until next time, managing mental health matters.